Hey, what's going on?
How's it going?
I'm good. How you been?
Oh, staying afloat.
Hello. Okay. How was the how was the filming?
It was very good. It was a very, very good set. That was great. I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't worked with any of the crew before, I don't think. Well, then it turned out that I have met some of them before, but not really worked with them together. And then the cast ended up being a lot of people that I know. So it was a very good set. Very good crew.
Okay.
Excited about that to come out.
Okay. Is this a short film?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, but we just have a few more scenes to shoot. We just need a last location, so it's not fully ready to go into post yet.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Anything
How
else?
about you?
Nothing much. Just working and just starting to promoting the release of the film,
Mhm.
I already reached out to the colleges to try to take it there and, showcase it to like some
Mhm.
of the students and stuff like that. I think they're on spring break, so that's probably why I'm not hearing anything back.
Oh, they could be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the most
Yeah.
part. I mean, I've heard back from some of the people. They're just like, okay, email this person or I'll get back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to really like bug them and stuff. I'll give them another week or so and we'll see what happens. But for the
Gotcha.
most part, I think a lot of the colleges are on spring break. Um,
I see. Well, I'm done with preparing my countdown, so in a couple of days, I think in about like if I start releasing footage tomorrow, probably in 10 days, I'm gonna release the marketplace.
I can't wait to see that. And I have to interview about that. So once I see it, then I might
Oh
do,
yeah, let's do that. You made the cut for the blooper reel, so
Oh,
you'll
for real?
see yourself in that
Oh,
soon.
I gotta see that. I made a cut for the blue. I did not know you
Okay,
had.
it was so hard to get the blooper reel together. We had way less bloopers than I expected. So either Riz had actually like already cleaned out all the really, really bad footage and I
Mhm.
don't have all of it, or we actually did sometimes forget to hit record because I didn't have that many bloopers.
Yeah, and I
It
think
was hard to get a
that's
reel
something I
together.
have to be Trey and I are trying to be conscious of that because we had that for roommates, and we didn't know that. I didn't know he was doing that. And Brenton, who was also the DP on roommates, he sort of did it and stuff like that. So moving forward, we've said like, listen, we're just gonna let the camera roll and try to catch as much bloopers as we can because
I
that's,
know, it
it
just
doesn't
takes
matter
up so
what.
much space on your computer or external hard
Yeah,
drive. I think eventually you start like we had a situation on this set this past weekend where they kind of had to go through all the footage on the camera and remove some of the throwaway footage so that we could like film the last take of the last scene because we were like out of space on the camera, you
yeah.
know?
You might have to like stop buying like some more storage
You
device.
have to offload. You have to
Yeah,
offload. You have to like
yeah,
take breaks and offload your footage. So,
yeah.
and I think we
So
did that. I think Riz did that on set, but I don't know. Yeah. It's the technical stuff. I'm still learning that part.
I'm starting to learn it too, so we'll see how that goes. I don't think I'll ever be like fully immersed in that, but it's good to learn a little bit of it so that you know what to do and stuff like that. But anyway, take us away.
Oh, welcome back, everyone, to Movie Unboxing with Marty and Bola. We are two filmmakers and creatives that like to unbox a film and talk about what makes it tick from a filmmaker's perspective. And
Yeah.
honoring women this month.
So yeah, today this month, this first of all, this is our first time back after a long, long, long break. So
Yeah, pretty
to us,
much this
yeah,
year, right? Like I
this
think the start of the year was a rough start for me. So
yeah, it was pretty rough. But yeah, so this is the first time we're bringing back the show. So because we enjoy doing it, and we're starting. I wanted us to start. Obviously, we would have loved to start in January, but as she said, things, it was rough. It was a rough year. It started off a little rough. Nothing
Mhm.
negative, but just trying to get things situated.
No, but you have to like kind of refocus your time management sometimes,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So this we're starting off in March, which is the International Women's Month. And so because Marty is a woman, obviously,
I am.
this is her month.
Indeed am.
This is her month. So she's gonna be picking all the movies for this month,
Oh dear.
and we're gonna try to make sure that the movies are female centric. Maybe it has a female lead, or it's written by a female, or directed by a female. But it's gonna be a female lead. So for the rest of this month, all the movies she picks it. So we're going with the theme for this month. And the mo movie that she picked is a movie that she's been wanting to unbox for a long time. I know this is
Just
one of her. This is one
I've
of
been
your
wanting
favorite.
you to see it. That's
Yeah,
what it
you've been
is. I
wanting me
want to
to
make
see
you
it.
watch
Yes,
it
yes. You have watched it, I'm sure, so many times.
so
Uh,
many times.
yes, and I could tell. Well, I'm gonna get to what I noticed about the film. It's
Hmm.
called Bridget Jones's Diary.
Hmm.
It was released in 2001. It's a romantic comedy. It stars the Oscar winner Renee Zellweger as Bridget Jones. Colin Firth, I think he's an Oscar winner too, right?
For King's Speech, I
For
think.
King's Speech, yes.
Hmm.
As Mark Dancy and Darcy, I mean Mark Darcy, and Hugh Grant as Daniel Cleaver. It was directed by Sharon Maguire. I checked her resume. I think she mostly does like TV directing and
Hmm.
documentaries and stuff like that. She's not really too known in
Hmm.
the feature film, directing feature films. But the film was co-written by Helen Fielding, who also is the author of the book. So Bridget Jones'
Yes,
Diary.
she wrote the books, and that's kind of what I grew up, I read the books. Like as a teenager at one point I read the books and I
Mhm,
absolutely loved all the books. I'm so glad that they actually did continue the series later on, and it's actually interesting because I'm so used to the fact that if something comes out in like the 90s or like 2000s and then they pick it back up decades later,
mhm,
it's usually shit. Like it really just is. Like they're trying to grasp at straws at something that was really popular many years ago. One example that was very disappointing to me was Gilmore Girls. The TV show was amazing, and then they tried to like wrap it up in like four big episodes. It was terrible. It was not them anymore, you know? But this, they actually like there's a part three that came out like I think like 7 or 10 years later, and now then this past year part four came out and they're all like, I mean, literally everybody who's ever watched Bridget Jones cried at that last one because it closes all of your chapters. Like it kind of gives you the closure that you needed. So yeah, and all the books were really, really good and they stuck to the books very well, which is really nice. You know, for a book reader, it's very important that you don't go away too far from the books
mhm.
as best you can, of course, because I know that it is a different medium, so it's hard to tell the story sometimes. But they did very, very well. It's written, it's you're watching a diary. You're watching her write the diary and everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So first of all, the movie is about Bridget Jones, living in the UK. She's, I think where she gets to an age where, I think a lot of women feel like, oh my God, like I'm single, I'm not married, like, I've got to do some changes to my life, and she starts taking a little bit more active role in her life. And she starts putting herself out there, like literally putting herself out there, like wearing like tight skirts and at work because she's a publicist at a book publishing firm. And Cleaver, who is her boss, he starts taking notice of her, and Cleaver's like the bad boy,
she's a
typical
sleaze
bad
bag.
boy. Yeah, but Darcy is the clean-cut good guy who her mom has been trying to get her to is trying to get her to date. But usually whenever your mom tries to get you to date somebody, it's probably somebody that you don't like. Saying that you end up not gonna like or something like that.
And they don't make sense. Like if you watch it, the more you watch it, they don't really make sense because she is like chaos incarnate. Like she's just complete chaos. She is cringe mode on 2 feet, like walking
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, her character is like it's like she just doesn't it's like she can't read the room. She's always making like some comments
Yep.
and everybody's just looking at her like, and she's just like, okay. And then she tries to find a way to wiggle out of it.
It's she's just unapologetically herself. And I think that's ultimately what he finds charming and he finds refreshing about her, but he is the opposite. He's someone who's been probably put into like only boys private school, shipped away as a kid, put a
Hmm.
stick up his butt, and that's how he walks right now, you know,
Yeah,
like, and
yeah.
he's a very, very successful lawyer. And for early 2000s, very good looking guy. It was never like, it's funny. They were never, neither one of them were ever my type where I would like be like, oh yeah, I get it now. No, it was
Nah, here's the funny thing about the character Bridget Jones. As the story was unfolding, and given the fact that this is one of your favorite films, and you've been dying for me to watch it so we can unbox it. I started to see, wait a minute, this is Marty.
oh no,
I said, this is Marty.
what are
Every,
you saying?
I'm telling, it's like, first of all, okay, she's awkward in terms of like social settings and stuff like that, but she's full of life. You're full of life.
Yeah,
She's still happy go lucky. Even though
yeah,
she's kind of sad, like, she's not married and doesn't have anybody in her life and stuff like that. Or, there was a moment there where she had some disappointments and stuff like that. She still could pick herself up in a way. She could
yeah,
find a
yeah.
way
And
to
she
pick.
never gives up. And again, I think one thing definitely that I can relate to is I will always, always be unapologetically myself. Put me in a room with a bunch of really boring lawyers, and I will still not be like having these like dull conversations with them where I'm just like,
Yeah, because I said I was watching the character and I'm just like, wait a minute, this is Marty. I can
yeah,
see
so
why
funny.
Marty likes this story now because characteristics of her just matches yours almost to a T. And you've heard that before because you didn't say like no, 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 no. You've heard that before.
I don't think so. No, I
You've
don't think
never.
anyone's
This is
ever
the first
said
time
that
somebody's
before.
saying that to you.
No, I don't think so. But I was actually, so I don't know if you know this fun fact about this film, but the first two films, Renee Zellweger, who, by
Mhm.
the way, whenever I first watched this, I'm pretty sure I was in high school. And so I didn't, we have like our movies dubbed in Europe. And
Mhm.
because they were dubbed, I never knew that she's not actually British.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I never looked into it that the actress isn't actually a British. That's not her actual accent because I didn't really hear it in the accent in the first time I watched it. But the casting choice was really interesting because she's a beautiful woman till this day. She is striking, and
Mhm.
they paid her per pound that she would gain to play Bridget Jones.
Oh, you mean she gained weight for this role?
They actively, yes, she was actively trying to gain weight for the show to look more awkward because she doesn't have the body type for it. She's like beautiful, tall and
Mm.
skinny usually.
Mm.
And so, yeah, she gained weight. She gained even more weight and made even more money for the second one.
Oh, okay.
They literally paid her. I don't know what the money, I would have to Google it, but it was like, thousands of dollars on top of her regular pay
Mhm.
per pound that she would gain for the role.
Wow. Hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Um, One thing, so there was not a lot of good camera angles in this movie. The only great camera angle that I saw was when she stepped out of the house and they were going out into the country with Hugh Grant's character when she got into the convertible. That top shot over the top right
Yeah.
there, that was probably the most significant and only like camera angle that I would be like, okay, this is a good
Well,
camera
no,
angle.
I think, okay, let's rephrase what you're saying. They were all good camera angles. There's nothing like noticeably like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
different and
Yeah, yeah,
original.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what
Because
I'm
you're
trying to
making
say.
it
Like,
sound like
yeah,
it
no, no,
was
no, no, no,
badly shot.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about just
No,
something
yeah,
that.
there's nothing to unbox based on like giant creativity in
Mhm.
the visual storytelling, I wouldn't say. The second one a little more. There was a couple of camera angles where I was like, I don't even know how they shot that. So
Okay,
I'm gonna have to Google that.
okay.
But yeah, no, it's Well, it reminds me a little bit of the two other Hugh Grant films that we watched, the wedding one, the Four Weddings and a Funeral. Like they don't they're not those types of movies, right? And
Hmm.
it wasn't those types of times either where you would go and like, do all this crazy B-roll and super original angles. It's very straightforward the way they told the story and they filmed it. But
Yeah.
the acting was impeccable.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah. I think the fact that Renee Zellweger is not British, her accent was amazing. Because when I was watching
Mhm.
it, I was just like, wait a minute, is Renee? I thought she was Canadian. I thought she was Canadian, so I
So
had to go look.
she is American born, I think, right?
She's
But
American. Yeah,
she's
she's American
both
born.
her parents are not technically American, I guess. So, but I still, I mean, when you see her in interviews or you see her speak her
Mhm.
own language, she's American.
Yeah. So I was surprised. I think her accent was superb because you always hear whenever you see people who are doing British accents and they're not from Britain, it's always like,
You can
you know.
tell. You can always
Yeah,
tell.
you can tell, but I think hers was superb. Like she did a masterful job because like if anybody didn't know who the hell she was, they would think like, oh, this is a British woman. They'd be like, no, she's American. So
Hmm.
I like I like Hugh Grant's I kind of like Hugh Grant's character. He wasn't as unlikable as I thought he would be.
Yeah, right. It's
he was
hard.
still yeah, it was still likable
That's
even though
kind of the point. The
yeah,
story, the decision was supposed to be hard at first.
even though his character was a jerk.
Hmm.
Um and but then Colin Firth's character, at first I didn't really like him. It wasn't until the fight scene with that fight
And
scene,
yeah, exactly.
that's when I pretty much liked him. But up until that point, I really didn't care for his
He
character.
was just stuck up and boring.
Yeah, he was
And
just
she even calls him that. She calls him that later in the second movie again, even though they're dating. She calls him a stuck-up bore. Like they're
oh
just that's
yeah,
kind of what he is, but he's not. He's got so much love for it. And again, this is where it comes to where it's really, really hard to tell the entire story that you read in a book because there's so much that happens that you really can't spell out because that would be boring. Like that's not how you want to watch a film, right? By having spelled out all the stuff that happens in between the lines. But he really does end up being like the biggest romantic ultimately, you know?
yeah. Um, let me touch on Hugh Grant's character a bit too. Um, like I said, his character was still likable, even though he was a jerk. And I don't know if that was purposely written that way or that was just the way Hugh Grant brought the character out. And I'm dying to think, like, is he in the second one? Is his character in the second one?
Hmm.
Okay, so maybe they'll flesh out the character a little bit more, and I'll probably be
Hmm.
able to understand the character.
So to not, I mean, I don't think I'm spoiling anything here. This is from 2000s, but ultimately, basically, he's got a sex addiction. That's his he's got a problem. Like he needs a doctor. Like he's sick. But ultimately,
Like most men. Mhm, okay.
right, right. But ultimately the situation with him is that he um is so used to getting what he wants because of how charming he is, because of how funny he is. He is intelligent, he is good looking. That he's ultimately obsessed with her because she turned him down.
Of course, yeah, because when he comes back on
So,
her
and
birth
that and it continues the same way, approximately.
in the
That
second one,
it's
okay,
just that, yeah, but I want to say I read the first book before I saw the film. But when I'm thinking back, when you're reading a book and you're picturing people, it's always been him. Like, I don't, it was just so perfectly cast.
really, you pictured him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He
Um,
just he fits the role so well. But that's why I also always assume that he's not a good guy when I see him in other things.
yeah, he does play. He can play a mean guy very well. He can play a mean guy because there's this if I find it, it's on. I think it's on YouTube. It's an old miniseries that my mom watched when I was a kid, and I loved it. He played a very mean son. Like he was very, very mean. And every time I see him, I still think of that character. It's probably from the 80s. If I find it, I'll send it to you. You should watch it.
Well, he is
Um,
very versatile because between that and being like the prime minister and then the four weddings and a funeral, but
yeah,
then the bad guy and heretic, we've had
Heretic, yeah,
him the most, I think, show
yeah,
up in all of our things like because
yeah. So we need
he's
to dedicate a
everywhere
month.
and he
We need
does
to dedicate a
everything
month to
right. He
him.
does it well.
Yeah, we need to dedicate a month to him since he's been like the most consistent actor in all of the
Guys, it's
stuff.
Hugh Grant month at
Hugh Grant, yeah,
Marty
we do a
and Bola unboxing.
yeah, we do a Hugh Grant month. We'll unbox some of the films he's done. But when I was watching Colin Firth's character and how his character was moving, another thing's popped into my head. This is a modern tale of Pride and Prejudice.
Hmm. Is he not in the Pride and Prejudice?
He might be in one of the there might be a version where he's in one.
Yeah,
But
and I think his name is
he's
Mr.
not in the
Darcy. Is it not? Am I mistaking
yeah,
something?
yeah. The character that the lead girl, Elizabeth Bennet goes with is
Yeah.
Darcy. That's why when I heard the name Darcy, I'm like, and then the story was unfolding, I'm like, oh, this is Pride and Prejudice. Because but they just flattened the story to include because in the Pride and Prejudice, there was one character who was a soldier that Bennett was like, like leaning more towards, and that character was an unsavory character. It was a bad character and stuff like that. But then, and he had a relationship with Mr. Darcy, because something from their childhood. Coincidentally, these two have a relationship because they were friends before until he caught
Hmm.
him doing something with with his fiance or wife or something like that. So they had a relation. So it almost mirrors the same
Hmm.
storyline. So I'm thinking it's like
Interesting.
in a modern day telling of Pride and Prejudice. They just cut out
Hmm.
a whole lot of other characters and set it in which is fine. You can do that. You can a whole lot of stories are brought out of a whole lot of stories are brought out of other stories too. You know what I'm saying? Just like, we've talked about it before, like, Titanic is essentially Romeo and Juliet. You just put them on a boat, you know what I'm saying? So, this time Romeo
Every
dies.
story has been told by now. I don't think.
Yeah, every story has been told. And I think Craig was telling me something about the elements of every story. They have to have it. I can't remember what he said, but when you think about it, he mentioned somebody else mentioned it too. When you hear it, you be like, that is true. Every story has these four or five elements and never fails. It never fails. It doesn't matter whether it's a horror film, whether it's an action film or something, they all have the same elements. And you just have, you have, unless you can invent another one, then, then you be a great, you're reinventing the wheel or something like that. But
Right.
and then also it's a Christmas movie. It doesn't
It is a little bit of a Christmas
the
movie,
Christmas
yeah.
a little bit. I like that. It didn't. I was about to say it doesn't really throw the Christmas at you, but it's
But
subtly.
it ties it into a neat bow because, and honestly, how beautiful are all the shots in the snow? They just kind of make, there's something about it. And also interesting because we are unboxing, so we're always like trying to talk about all the BTS production, how was it done and all that stuff. Maybe the camera angles and all that stuff wasn't so challenging, but I'm looking at like she is talking and she's walking across one of the main bridges in London.
Mhm.
Do you think all of those extras have been paid? Or did they go and just shoot? Like, they can't just shoot, but at the same time, I don't see them closing the main bridge of London, like,
But
one of the main
do
bridges.
you think they even shot it on the bridge? Maybe this is a studio shot. Could be a studio shot.
I don't think so. That looked really good. I
That
mean,
you never or
2000, remember, the green screens weren't that good yet.
it doesn't matter. I mean, they still had some kind of, they were using blue screens back then. And they still had computer graphics too, because in 2001, good. But Titanic, and when we talk about Titanic, that scene where she's, when she's, oh, I'm flying, Jack, I'm flying. That was in the studio. You know what I'm saying? And then they just used blue screen to just get the water and all that stuff there. So
Yeah,
that
don't
was in the studio.
disappoint me.
Yeah. Or okay,
But also, yeah.
let me raise up your hopes. Maybe it wasn't shot on location in London. Maybe it was shot in another place, and they know, and then they had on shot on location in another bridge that almost resembles London.
Hmm.
And then they put the background there to make it look like
Mm.
London. So
Maybe.
it's movie
We could
magic.
probably find out. But so also what I did want to touch on is how this movie is still it's still very watchable, right? I mean, we are 25 years later and
Hmm.
it is still completely watchable. It dates itself so easily with the pop culture, with like when the her gay best friend is putting his case on his old Nokia phone.
Oh, okay.
It dates itself, but
No,
at the same time,
I like the music.
very,
Oh,
yeah.
by my. And then they had other aria. I think they sang down arias.
R-E-S.
Yeah, yes, they had that. There were a couple of songs there that, they just, you know, even though it dates itself, it's still relevant today because people still listen to these songs. They still have meaning to it. So if you watch it, it would
Yeah,
it
there a lot of them are evergreen, I think, like but they were also placed so well. Like I mean the lyrics were placed to fit
in
the
the right.
scene
Yeah,
perfectly.
yes,
So the
yes.
music choices were amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I like the music choices. Now, given that this is International Women's Month, let's talk about the underlying issue here with that has to do with women. And that's the fact that even though it's a romantic comedy, it's actually touching on something that a lot of women, a lot of a point that it touches at a point where a lot of women are faced with, where they get to a certain age and
Hmm.
there isn't, they think like their chances of finding love is dwindling and starting a family.
Hmm.
And then here she is, she's caught in between in the midst of two people. One's the bad
Hmm.
guy or the bad boy, and the other one is like the straight-laced good guy. Although she doesn't know at the time, although she does, but she does have an idea of who she is, of who Hugh Grant's character is. She doesn't just know how far of a bad guy, how deep of a bad guy he is. She falls for him. You know what I'm saying? And even after she, she still wants to go back to him during that fight, because after the fight, she goes to him,
Hmm.
not to,
Well, because
not,
she thinks he's still she
yeah,
thinks Colin Firth is still Hugh Grant's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
woman, not the other way around. But which she should have figured it out by now, considering how he's been treating her, but never mind that. I like that you've brought that up because it's not just that, the fact that we're still stuck in the in order to be happy and have a fulfilled life, I need to find this man.
Hmm?
As well as, and I don't know if you've heard how many times it's been referenced that she is just not skinny enough.
Who are you talking about? Women in general?
No, I mean in this film, how many
Oh,
times it's been referenced that she's just not skinny enough. There's of course her constantly tracking her calories, constantly
oh,
tracking her
okay. Yeah,
pounds.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then there's also there's the scene where she finds the American woman, the affair in the bathroom.
And
And
she
as
was,
she's leaving, already disappointed because she's been cheated on, or
hmm?
ultimately, she said, "Didn't you say she was thin?"
Yes, yes.
That was like, and then there's one really sneaked in thing that you can easily overhear, but the moment where all the friends come into her house for her birthday talking about the article that she's like made the front page of an article,
Hmm?
one of the friends says, "Oh my gosh, girl, you look so thin in that picture." Like
Mm,
that's the freaking most important thing. We
mm.
have been taught this our whole life. You know what
That
I
you should
mean?
be skinny as a woman.
Yes. Or
Oh,
else you're not
gonna find a guy.
worth being wanted by, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. And somebody, and I don't know where I just heard it, and I just heard this like a couple of days ago, and I cannot remember where I found it. But the guy, they were talking about like how after, when after a wife gives birth to a kid or two or three, that her body is going to go through some changes. That a lot of women's bodies will not be able to lose a lot of their baby weight. They may lose some, but a lot can't lose a lot of that baby weight. And I think, it's shameful that men talk about their wives' weight, say like, oh, you better lose your weight. I didn't marry, I married a fit woman, yada yada yada. And I think it comes with maturity as a man that you just have to like, you know what, this woman just gave you three kids or two kids or something. Like, be appreciative of that. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like her body just went through something. So
You
I
did
think,
this. So
yeah, you did this.
ultimately, right?
Yeah, so probably that's why on the birthing table they're cursing the guy out like you mother lover, I hate you, and some of them just don't, it goes like that. But and I think it's apropos that you're talking where this movie also highlights the weight thing that it's very important for the woman to have to keep the weight and stuff like that. But who determines that? You know what I'm saying? Is that society or is that
Yeah.
individuals? You know what I'm saying? Um, because I don't think any of the two men. Well, the American girl did say you said she was skinny. Um, so I don't know. Is it so? Let me say this. Is it quite possible that in this movie, not one of the men referenced her weight? It was just the women. Is it quite possible that
Hmm.
can you?
Yeah.
So now, what does that say now? Does that say something
I
that
mean, I
probably
think
some men probably don't care about it per se, but
exactly.
maybe other women are more conscious of other women's weight.
Also, if you're really alone for a really long time, you're looking for a reason, right?
Hmm.
You're trying to figure out why. And so she's dead set on the fact that she's not successful enough at work, but she then gets a better job, but has the ass of Brazil, right? That was the other reference when she comes down on that pole and just her butt is on the
Yeah,
screen.
I was
And she
looking at that.
says,
I was like, I was like, that's not hers. That's got to be a body double or something like that. I was like,
I mean, that's also like probably fisheye. That's like because she's landing on the camera, but
yeah, because I didn't see that coming. I was just like, what the hell is? I'm like, okay, we're going with that. So,
I don't know. We are all of us infected by something. I mean, and I think till this day, as much as we are learning a lot of that, like body positivity, awareness of every body is different, we're allowed to be ourselves, blah blah blah. Um, I think we're still, or at least I am, who has, been raised during that time. So that time was very, very, very po there's like a video at one point I saw online that it said something along the lines of like, oh, but were the 90s really that bad about body image? And then it just shows like a compilation, like a reel of different moments where literally top models are being asked, well, how much do you weigh? Or like they're trying to put Victoria Beckham on the scale and they're telling like really, really thin women, like, oh, well, you kind of gained some weight. Like it's just like it was toxic back then.
hmm, yeah,
It was really, really bad. And so we've been fed that so much,
hmm,
that then you end up not believing that anything will ever be enough until we make ourselves sick. And theoretically, we have learned now that it's not necessary anymore, right? There's TV shows that are bringing out women that have normal bodies that aren't all top models. But then you have people like, I don't know if you recently saw, I can't remember, was it Kelly Osbourne? Ozzy Osbourne's daughter? She was
yeah,
always kind of chunky. She is
yeah,
literally dying.
killing
You
herself.
can see that she's dying. She's a skeleton right now
Mm,
because Ozempic has been brought up, and suddenly body positivity is no longer a thing because there's access to something else, and we're still all constantly trying to be as little as possible. Explain that to me because I don't understand.
I don't get it too. I think, that I don't understand the thing because I
Yeah,
really
but
don't.
back then that was normal. Like her main goal was to lose 10 pounds.
Hmm.
It was her biggest life goal.
I think I think it's okay if you I think it's okay for one if you know the reasons why you're doing it and the reasons are legit for your health.
If it's for
Um
you, exactly, not for
yeah.
some dude or like in
Well, I mean
general, not
I
for the
mean if you
public.
if you want to make yourself look a little bit more attractive in the market, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to the extreme, like you said with the Kelly Osbourne girl, that she's gone to, and I've seen girls who've gone to the extreme to the point that I'm just like, okay, you do not look attractive right now. I don't know what you've gone, I don't know what you've done. You've gone to the
No,
point
that
where,
that like really hungry, skinny, skeleton
yeah,
looking stuff, like,
it's
but
this,
it's blindness, you know. They call there's something that like you know how you can go nose blind, like you have a dog and then you
mhm.
don't smell the dog in your house anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same thing. You keep going thinner and thinner and thinner, and you always think it's not enough, you know?
It's
It's a sickness.
it's a sickness, and I've seen, like I said, I've seen girls in real life that, they looked normal. They have like a normal, healthy woman's body, and then they just think they're fat, and then they just keep trying to lose weight and losing weight, losing weight, losing weight, and it gets to the point that you feel like, okay, you might, we'll joke like, okay, you might need to eat some burgers or something. Like this is
Well,
it's getting to,
also at one point did you forget to live your life? Because that's the other thing.
yeah, like like
Like
I said.
enjoying life,
Enjoy life.
unfortunately,
Yeah. Like,
like
yeah, like, you can enjoy. Who cares what this person says or that person says? You know what I'm saying? F them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to, like I said, it's okay if you want to be healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. If you need to, it's okay if you want to make yourself look a little bit attractive to, like, there's nothing wrong with that. But, if you're going to the extreme, now you're not really enjoying life. Now you're still constantly just thinking like, oh, how many pounds am I eating? How many
yeah, now you're
calories am I?
not living your life and
Yeah,
we're
you're just
supposed
not
to live
living
our
and
lives.
enjoying
That's what
yourself.
our bodies are for. Like,
Exactly.
but
So
anyway, I think we digress.
yeah, we're going we're yeah. People will probably think like, oh my God, is this all part of the movie? Like, was this in the movie? No, 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 no. It's just like, it's just part of the way we're unboxing the movie and stuff like that. It's a truly, truly beautiful and fun-loving romantic comedy. I mean, the fight scene between these two characters, Hugh Grant and Colin Firth, that was truly like the best fight scene. If it was the most awkward fight scene, these two guys can't fight. Let's just put it that way. They
No,
really can't
no, they're
fight.
both pencil pushers. They're not
Yes.
supposed to be doing this.
And but the scene worked so perfectly when they got into that Italian hotel. I think that was an Italian restaurant or something like that.
Or Greek, wasn't it Greek? Were they like
It,
singing and
it,
they
it,
pause for a second
yeah, it was
to
like,
sing happy birthday?
yeah. And I'm thinking they're gonna sing it for Renee Zellweger's character, but actually they're singing it for another guy. And they just throw each other, and it's raining, man. And it's singing. That's the song playing.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful. I love that scene. I had
So
to
that
watch it
was
like,
very like I think every little girl's dream, kind of like little girl. I mean, like a child that like watches princess movies. Like it's like, oh, two dudes arguing over me. That's awesome. You know, I don't think it's
you
in
don't think
reality that awesome.
you don't think grown women like that?
Huh?
You don't think some grown women like that? Like two men fighting
You
over her?
think?
I I think there's still some women who like that, who like to see
Mm.
stuff like that. Like two grown men fighting for her. Be like, oh, and I like
Physically or like
what?
just arguing? I don't know.
Nah, because guys don't really argue. Guys, they'll argue, they'll start off and then they'll just start throwing punches. You know what I'm saying? That's you girls. You girls will argue and scream and and
Right.
yeah. But for guys, they'll just, they'll they'll muscle up like gorillas and stuff like that, like what? And then they'll just start pop, 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 pop. And then after 2, 3 minutes, it's over. It'll be like, but like we would
Right.
like guys, for guys, if we fight, after we fight, we shake hands and we're good. We may never be friends, but we're good. But you girls, oh my God, this can last for a century. We won't talk to each other.
Mhm.
I don't understand. That's the part I don't
Yep.
understand. But yeah,
Never ends.
that was a good fight scene. I love that fight scene. That was good. Just the way they fought, you can tell like these guys cannot fight at all. They're pencil pushers. They've never had a fight before in their lives. But prior to the scene of them getting out there to fight, I liked how he told him, "All right, Cleaver, outside." And he's like, well, "Are we going for a duel, like a sword or a gun? Like, what do you want me? You want me to bring something?" That it was a funny scene. It was a very good scene. The other funny scene that I like was when she first was having sex with Cleaver's character, and then the phone rang, and then she said, Bridget Jones, sex goddess and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, mom,
Yeah.
can you
And then
imagine?
it's her dad calling
Yeah,
or mom.
mom, it was her mom calling. Can you imagine? That's like almost like your
She
parents
has no
walk.
filter. I love
Yeah,
that about her.
it's
She has
almost
no
like,
filter.
it's almost
Also,
like
her
some
parents are so messed up. It's so funny.
that is okay. Let's just touch on that one because the mom at that age is trying to live life like she's still young, and then she goes off and leaves the dad, and she's now having a relationship with some TV guy that's selling jewelry and all that kind of stuff.
Some orange dude. I
Yeah,
think I think they called that midlife crisis.
like
It's just late for her, right?
what is that's like a late crisis or something. Like midlife, isn't midlife like around 40s or something like that? She's her character is well is like in her 50s or 60s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, maybe it's yeah, I don't know.
And then she leaves the man and he
I don't
can't
know.
function, the husband can't function properly and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He's losing his
Yeah, but the
wife.
mom is also very obviously just insane.
Yeah. So what do you think about she comes back and he takes her back? What do you because I was like,
Hmm.
what do you
Yeah, I
agree?
know. I struggled with that too.
Yeah, I would
I struggle
maybe
with that.
maybe at that age, it's like, what am I going to do? Go out and find another
I
girl?
don't know.
Because
I
as
don't
a
know.
young uh, as somebody around this age, I wouldn't take her back if she did something like that. I wouldn't take her back. But maybe at that age, when you're in your 60s,
Well, the story, the way they are telling the story, right? And they didn't focus on that because they're
yeah, you froze up.
focusing on Bridget, but for
You go
granted.
back,
She's like,
go back,
I'm finally
go
fed
back,
up with it. I found someone who will not take me for granted.
go back, Marty. You froze up earlier.
Go back to what?
Go start again your train of thought. You froze up
When?
when you was like, just start off from where
I
you were
was
trying.
saying basically,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was saying that the story that they were trying to tell in the background, they were focusing on Bridget Jones so that they didn't tell it as deeply, but the whole point of it was a very classic relationship situation where she says, "You're taking me for granted, you're not paying attention to me. I found someone who will."
Mm,
So the whole point of it being that when she returns, she's basically like, "Look, I'm sorry, this was a terrible idea and he was no better than you, but I need for taking her for granted." Does that
mm.
make sense?
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I guess that, like I said, I guess at that age, you forgive and you keep moving on. You move on, but
She's 30 something, right?
who?
She's 30 something.
Yeah,
So
he's
they would
talking.
have been married 40 years, probably.
So they're like in their 60s. Yeah. So I guess,
Yeah, but they've been married for 40 years. If you've spent this much time together, you
yeah,
probably take that person back.
yeah. That's why I said you probably take them back, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of like what? Uh, I guess you take them back and forgive them and be like, listen, it is what it is. But anyway, let's rate the movie. Obviously, I know what you're gonna rate it as. So you go first. What you gonna rate it as? Oh no, no, let me go first. Let me go first. I give this movie, I give it an 8. What do you give it?
Yeah, me too.
You give it an 8? Yeah, give it an 8.
8
Okay.
too. Yeah.
It's a good movie. It was a very good movie. I
Yeah,
don't know if I'll
me
call
too.
it a Christmas movie. Maybe I gotta watch it again
It's
and see.
refreshing. And it's funny because it's genuinely a movie that my dad likes to watch too. Like it's a very all girls movie, but it's
Mhm.
so funny genuinely in all the ways where just like only women can watch it.
I mean, it's a cool chick flick. It's a cool chick flick. But yeah, I would give it an 8. I like the movie and stuff like that. So, what's the movie for next week?
Oh, the one that I had texted you about. Hold on, let me find the name. I haven't seen it. I have no idea. I just saw the trailer and it really looks genuinely interesting. Hold on.
Substance? The
Um,
substance?
the substance. The substance.
Who's in that one?
It looks creepy.
Oh boy.
Demi Moore.
Let me see. Let me look at that.
Demi Moore and I can't remember the girl's name, but she was in a Tarantino film.
That's from 2000. Horror sci-fi. Dennis Quaid, Hugo Gus. Okay. Okay.
Margaret Qualley. Dennis Quaid.
Well, let's watch it.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but it seems to be addressing a little bit what we were just talking about, the toxicity of, women feeling like I can't age, I can't gain weight, I don't know. It seems to
Yeah.
be a little bit about that. I don't know exactly. The
Huh?
substance, I think, is like a little bit of a reference to something kind of like Ozempic, but it does more because it's sci-fi, right? So it's like
Yeah. Let's watch it. All right.
Mhm.
That's our show for today.
I'm genuinely curious about it.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
think it is also directed by a woman.
yeah, it is. I just saw the casting. It's directed by. All right, guys. That's our show for today. Thank you for watching. Please, sorry about the little technical thing with the Wi-Fi, but
Insert.
yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, so that's going to be, so next week we're going to be watching The Substance. So if you've watched it, please, you know, just get ready for that. We'll be unboxing that for next week. But for right now, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave comments. What do you think about our review of Bridget Jones Diary? If you've seen it, let us know what you think about it. We'll see you guys next week. Something I was just about to say, I cannot remember. I just lost my train of thought. I was about to say. Oh, you know what? We'll talk about this after. All right, guys, that's the show for today. Bye. Yeah, bye.